All right, third time might be a charm. I've been having internet issues, phone issues. All right, so I turned my phone around. I'm going to have to actually check on my computer to make sure I'm actually live. Oh, goody. It says I'm live. All right. I think it looks good as long as I can get comfy here. I'm going to turn my chat on, although I don't feel like getting too distracted. I am a rookie at this. Hopefully you can hear me. All right, things seem to be jamming. All right, here we go. Trying something new. Now my business sign is not crooked. All right. It's probably more visually pleasurable for you. All right. All right, so I've been relentlessly studying for hours upon hours the last week. And this video is about crossing the magnetism threshold. So I have been going over current astrological energies, what is going on in our sky. I updated myself on 2025 last year, and that was in the middle of 2024. And this entire year, I've had personal things going on, ancestral things going on. I wrote like 14 books this year. So I was very focused on personal things, and we are at the end of 2025. And we have a lot going on in our skies. So I have been furiously studying, updating myself on what the heck is going on. All right, so this video is crossing the magnetism threshold. Now, I can't see my phone screen, so it's kind of odd looking at just my phone rather than myself, but I'm going to roll with it. Okay, so in every era, there's a gate where fire meets water. My last video was a lot about how a lot of our planets have retrograded into water signs from fire signs. We have 6, I think. Let me pull up the current chart here. We've got 6 planets in water signs, so that creates a grand water trine. So the sun is in Scorpio, Venus Scorpio, Mercury, I believe, is in Scorpio. What is the date? I might need to refresh this. But anyways, so we have a grand trine going on. So it's a lot. We have Scorpio sun, Taurus, super full moon. We just experienced that. So on one side, Taurus, Scorpio, the axis of embodiment and transformation. Your personal shadow work, your nervous system learning rhythm. So we are at a huge gate right now where the mind's lightning learns to move through the heart's ocean without burning it. And this gate I call the magnetism threshold, the bridge between water and light. So on one side, we have the Taurus Scorpio, the axis of embodiment and transformation, your personal shadow work, your nervous system learning rhythm. So we are entering a new age. I'm trying so hard not to get ahead of myself, but we are entering the age, or are in the age of Aquarius. And what fixes us or grounds us in the new age is the Taurus Scorpio axis. And I'm going to explain all of this in depth. So you can look at the Taurus Scorpio axis on a nodal, the north node and south node axis, and that really was cemented in with the Taurus super moon this month a few days ago in Scorpio season. So I'm going to break all of that down. As well as the Grand Water Trine. It is a rare 6-planet harmony that opens a collective heart field. And above it all, we have Pluto in Aquarius switching on the global nervous system, what I call the diamond magnetism, clarity under pressure, love with structure, power without force. This isn't just poetry, it's pattern. From 2001's shock that rewired our sense of safety. So I've literally spent the entire last 4 days studying probably 12 plus hours relentlessly. I went back in time over 5,000 years ago, just kind of looking at things. I've learned a lot. And so I'm just kind of looking at patterns, huge patterns, like throughout the ages, and just many, many different patterns. So, yeah, I'm going to tie a lot of that in here. So, from 2001's shock that rewired our sense of safety, we all know what that was, 9/11, to 2012's Crown Awakening. Now, a lot of people that I watch here on YouTube, I have noticed there's been a pattern that a lot of people say that they had their grand awakening in 2012. Now, that's a huge pattern across the board, including myself. I just had ever since 2012, I have been even more so relentlessly studying, restudying, re-educating myself on all things. So that is very interesting that's been a pattern across the board. So I was kind of curious why that was, and that's going to be a whole different video. But that is something I've noticed, the pattern. To the solar peaks and auroras of 2024 to 2025, we've been training for one thing: coherence. Not numbing, not performing, coherence. Your body, your emotions, and your voice humming the same note as Earth's field. I don't know if you can see like my breath. I had to open my big bay door and it's like raining outside, a little chilly, but I have to open my door in order to get internet, and I'm live, so it's quicker than uploading a video. So if you see my breath, that's what's going on. All right. FYI. All right. So what you'll get in this episode: how Taurus Scorpio functions like the heart's alternator. Taurus grounds the current, and Scorpio transforms the charge. Together, they teach your nervous system to feel deeply without flooding. And I have noticed that my most recent video, the most views was on the Taurus Scorpio axis. So a lot of people are especially in tune with the Taurus Scorpio axis. That's probably because of the Taurus supermoon in current Scorpio season. So I'm going to break that down in depth here. And a lot of people are not in tune with the Grand Water Trine or Pluto in Aquarius. So there's 3 major things going on right now. So I'm going to break down the Grand Water Trine. It is a collective coherence activation. Jupiter in Cancer is the belonging. Saturn and Neptune in Pisces is the compassion with boundaries. And the Sun, Venus, and Mars are in Scorpio. Transparent intimacy, forming a planetary heart alignment. So there's 6 planets, all in water signs. So that's considered a grand water trine, which is not common whatsoever. And then I'm going to break down how Pluto in Aquarius in 2025 to 2043 scales your integration into culture and code, ethics and technology, empathy and governance, and civilization that conducts light instead of chasing it. So I'm going to also break down the Venetian current, and that has to do with the Taurus Scorpio axis. So it's going to be in that section. So why now and why it feels different? 2008 to 2011 dismantled brittle structures. Pluto was in Capricorn. 2012 to 2013 shocked us awake. Uranus was in Pluto, or Pluto was in Uranus, or squaring, I believe. Yeah, that looks like a square. An opened feeling with a grand water trine. 2014 to 2020 demanded accountability and embodiment. 2021 to 2024 trained our nervous systems. 2025 seals the field. Water teaches fire to move kindly. 2030 begins crystallization, coherence as culture. Think of it as alchemy. Before gold, you master magnetism, the element that lets fire live in water. Biologically, I've been studying for hours. I'm going to try to hammer this out, so excuse me. Biologically, it runs your heart rhythm and cellular energy. Spiritually, it's the practice of holding charge and calm together. Once that hum is stable, the diamond lattice can form. Clarity that doesn't cut, it conducts. How to use this transmission? If you're an empath or Aquarius or INTJ, I literally spent the last year hammering the Aquarian or INTJ personality type. Astro-psychologically, I spent a whole year and focused on Aquarius due to my mind is in Aquarius in the 11th house, my Mercury, and we are now in the age of Aquarius. So I wanted to hammer that personality. I feel for you guys. I'm right there with you. So if you're interested in learning about Aquarius, certainly check out that playlist. It is pretty long. So if you're an Aquarius or empath, this is your blueprint. Containment with Taurus, purification with Scorpio, then contribution with Aquarius. If you're a leader, creative, or healer, treat 2025 as a design spec, coherence before communication, repair before scale. If you're burned out or bracing, this is the permission slip to slow your tempo so your gifts stop leaking. The promise: by the end, you'll know exactly what to do in your body this month to anchor the current, how to ride the 2025 Grand Trine without drowning in feeling, and how to plug your work into Aquarian grid without losing your soul. Because Taurus Scorpio is the personal gate, the Grand Trine is the communal breath, and Pluto and Aquarius is the living network they power together. Welcome to the magnetism. Jeez. I think my cat's walking around. It's distracting me. All right. So welcome to the magnetism. Why do I keep saying that? Welcome to the magnetism threshold. For goodness sakes, this is going to be a long video. I'm already stumbling over my words. Where the heart becomes an instrument and body becomes a temple of coherence. And civilization learns to shine like a diamond without shattering. All right, so let's get ourselves grounded here and together. I was hoping it wasn't a raccoon running around. All right, so the magnetism threshold, the bridge between water and light. Taurus Scorpio equals personal shadow integration, nervous system alignment. So Taurus and Scorpio is the personal shadow integration. The grand water trine is the collective coherence activation. Pluto in Aquarius is the global nervous system. Diamond, magnetism, manifest. So I know this is a lot. I am going to break it all down. The three magnetic scales of evolution. The personal Taurus Scorpio axis. I am not liking having my phone flip that way. It's messing up my screen. I feel like I need two computers right now. Okay. I might say screw looking at myself. I think it's working. It just makes it less personal for me. Not sure if I'm going to film like this again. It's throwing me off hardcore. All right, so personal Taurus Scorpio axis. Time range 2022 to 2024 with echoes until 2025. Astrological structure, we're talking about the nodes, eclipses, and Uranus and Taurus. Function is shadow integration and nervous system alignment. Learning to feel without collapse, to hold charge through the body. Perspective and practice, this is your individual magnet, ground through Taurus, earth, and transmute through Scorpio, water. Every emotion becomes voltage for growth. The collective 2025 grand water trine, Jupiter. We have Jupiter in Cancer, Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, and Sun, Venus, and Mars in Scorpio. It is the collective coherence activation. Humanity's heart field synchronizes. Emotional literacy becomes culture. And then the perspective and practice, feel the group field, how empathy, forgiveness, and honesty ripple through networks, politics, and art. The nervous system of society starts to breathe together. The planetary, we have Pluto in Aquarius, the diamond magnetism. 2025 to 2043, the core activation is 2025 to 2030. So it is the global nervous system integration. Planet learns to conduct light, electricity, mind, harmonizes with magnetism, heart. Think planetary. The internet, AI, climate, and consciousness grids reflect our collective regulation. The world body becomes one organism, the diamond grid. How to read them together. So Scorpio, the Taurus Scorpio is the micro level. Your body learns rhythm, containment, and release. You embody coherence personally. The nervous system becomes the temple. The grand trine is the meso level. Society mirrors your work. Emotional transparency, empathy in systems, and forgiveness in culture. It's the heart coherence event. What you heal personally becomes the planet's new emotional language. Pluto in Aquarius is the macro level. The planetary nervous system stabilizes. Technology, consciousness, and ecology align through empathy and transparency. Diamond magnetism. Clarity under pressure, power through resonance. So, a simple way to remember this: personal scale, keyword magnet, symbol Taurus Scorpio axis, what it feels like, your body hums with steady current. Collective scale, heart field, 2025 water trine, what it feels like, you sense emotional unity across humanity. Planetary is the scale, diamond grid, which is Pluto in Aquarius. What it feels like, thought, technology, and empathy merge. The earth thinks coherently. I'm gonna have to get a little bit more comfortable. Oh, jeez, there we go. I feel better now. Let me take a quick drink. All right, so these three things going on right now are huge. That's why I want to break them down here so you can get a bird's eye view overlook on what the heck is going on energetically. So between 2022 and 2025, you master your inner magnet, which is the Taurus Scorpio axis. In 2025 through 2026, humanity harmonizes through shared emotion, which is the grand water trine. From 2025 through 2043, the Earth's global nervous system comes online with Pluto in Aquarius. I'm still adjusting. All right, so the journey is simple but profound. Body, heart, planet, magnet, coherence, diamond. Yes, 2022 is the formal start of the Taurus Scorpio anchoring phase. So I was sitting here like, why is the Taurus Scorpio the anchoring phase? Does that mean the Taurus moon and Scorpio sun? And I'm like, yes, that was a part of it. But also, it is the axis of Taurus and Scorpio through the north node and the south node. So I'm going to break that down because you're already probably starting to ask that question like I did. So the Taurus Scorpio 2022 was the formal start of the Taurus Scorpio anchoring phase for the incoming Aquarian age frequency. And here's why astrologically. Energetically and historically, that year marks the beginning of the grounding current of the new era. So, why 2022 is the anchor point? The Taurus Scorpio gate opens. Nodal shift, the dragon's tail and head. On January 18, 2022, the lunar nodes moved onto the Taurus Scorpio axis. North node in Taurus and South node in Scorpio. The nodes of the moon represent collective evolution. North equals where we're going, and South equals what we're releasing. The axis stayed active from January 22 through July 23, with eclipses continuing to trigger it through late 2024. North node Taurus equals evolution through embodiment, building sustainable lives, reconnecting to nature, slowing down, and grounding frequency into matter. South node Scorpio releasing trauma and power games, shedding control, secrecy, and crisis addiction, the old emotional survival programming of the Piscean Capricorn era. The 18th month period literally opened the magnetic poles of the new age. 2022 to 25, the magnetic calibration years. The Aquarian age is an electrical era, air element ruled by Uranus and Saturn. But electricity can't stabilize without magnetism. It needs a grounding current. That's what Taurus Scorpio provided between 2022 and 2025. Taurus Earth anchored the body and physical systems into higher frequency, money, land, food, nervous system, and somatic safety. Scorpio water detox collective trauma, power struggles, and emotional repression. Together, they become the magnetic coil that allows the coming Aquarian current, electric, to run without burning out the collective circuit. This was humanity's magnetism rehearsal for 2025's Grand Water Trine, the year when emotion, water, and embodiment earth harmonized enough to open the collective heart field. Astronomical confirmation, the dragon lines rewire. During this axis activation, eclipses, solar and lunar, trace the Taurus Scorpio line. April, May, and October of November 2022 to 2023. Each eclipse acted like a magnetic pulse, resetting the human biofield. Simultaneously, Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, was in Taurus since 2018 and will be through to 2026, electrifying the Earth grid and human nervous system. So while Uranus updated the body's voltage, the nodes in 22 and 23 trained it in magnetism. By the time Pluto enters Aquarius, which is now 2025, the planet will be capable of carrying the full electric charge of the new age. All right, so historical pattern. Every age transition begins with its opposite axis anchoring first. So zodiacal age of Pisces, had an anchor in Virgo and Pisces axis. Example of magnetic grounding: monastic life, devotion, service, emotional surrender. Age of Aquarius had in now 2025, the Taurus axis Scorpio is the embodiment, nervous system regulation, and energy mastery. And then the age of Capricorn will have an anchor in Cancer and Capricorn, emotional intelligence crystallized into moral architecture. So each new air age begins through its opposite earth-water polarity, the grounding chords of consciousness. So in summary, 2022, North Node enters Taurus, personal magnetism training begins. 23 through 24, eclipses and Uranus awaken the body, collective trauma detox. 2025, the grand water trine seals the coherence, the heart field stabilizes. And in 2026, Pluto in Aquarius electrifies the grid, and the diamond magnetism civilization phase truly begins. So the Aquarian age's electrical dawn couldn't rise until the Taurus-Scorpio magnetic axis grounded it, and that anchoring began in 2022. It's the same universal law as electromagnetism. You cannot transmit light until you can safely hold charge. So a lot of astrologers, historians, and mystics rarely articulate this clearly. So I really wanted to elaborate here. All right, so the Taurus-Scorpio axis is the first one capable of anchoring an entire zodiacal age because it deals with magnetism, not just information or polarity. So let's break it down even more era by era to show why. The function of the nodal axis. Every 18.6 months, the lunar nodes, the north node and south node, shifts signs. They act like acupuncture needles in the collective body, showing where humanity is evolving north and releasing south. However, not every nodal cycle anchors an epoch. Most just rebalance polarity. Only certain axes align with the elemental polarity of the age itself. So if an age transition is air-based, like Pisces to Aquarius, the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius, it requires grounding in the opposite earth-water axis, Taurus-Scorpio. Until that axis activates, the age cannot take root in matter. The three pre-Aquarian nodal cycles, 2018 through 2022, cognitive prep, but not embodiment. So in 2018 through 2020, we had a Cancer Capricorn nodal axis, north node, south node. The collective function was emotional security versus control systems. Why it was preparatory, collapsed outdated patriarchal governmental structures, Capricorn, and reawakened emotional literacy with Cancer, prepped humanity for feeling, but still rooted in survival. So I did go back in time and I'm like, why is it, Taurus Scorpio, why isn't it just any north node, south node transition? And so this is why. That was another question that came in mind. So 2020 to 2022, we had a Gemini Sagittarius nodal axis. That was the information versus belief. We had a truth crisis, media overload, global communication revolution. Humanity learned discernment, but not grounding. It was an air fire axis, which equals mental, not embodied. 2020 to 2023 was the Taurus Scorpio nodal axis, embodiment versus transformation. Activated the magnetic core, nervous system, body, value systems, resources. First axis capable of grounding Aquarian current because it deals with energy storage and emotional transmutation. So, in essence, Cancer Capricorn broke the old emotional cage. Gemini Sagittarius restructured the mind. And Taurus Scorpio grounded the current in the body. Only after that sequence could Aquarius, the electric mind, safely descend into matter, the magnetic heart. Elemental compatibility. Why Taurus Scorpio matches the Aquarian age transition. The age of Aquarius is air element, ruled by Uranus, electric, mental, and collective. Its opposite polarity is earth, water, magnetic, embodied, and emotional. So this is very alchemical. I combine many different things together. All right, so the laws of electromagnetism and alchemy state. Electricity, air, fire cannot sustain itself without magnetism, earth, and water. That's why the Taurus Scorpio nodal cycle of 2022 to 2023 activated as the magnetic counterbalance to the rising Aquarian field. The Gemini Sagittarius cycle before it was too electrical. It expanded awareness, but also generated chaos, misinformation, and burnout. Only Taurus Scorpio could convert charge into coherence. So, the pattern through history, the anchor axis always belonged to earth, water. Let's look at the last few age transitions to prove the pattern. So we had age transition from the age of Taurus to the age of Aries. Approximate time was 2000 BCE. Element of new age was fire, action, anchor axis, Virgo, Pisces, function, dissolution of agrarian worship, birth of warriors, emotional devotion, and seated ethical fire. Aries, Pisces, Aries to the Pisces age, which is the element of water and faith, anchored in Cancer, Capricorn, which was the emotional morality. Monastic orders anchored the mystic current. Pisces to Aquarius. 2025, air mind network, Taurus Scorpio axis, magnetic grounding through embodiment and emotional intelligence. Each new age begins through its opposite element because consciousness must anchor the new current before it can operate stably. I really wanted to hammer this in. So, why 2022 through 2025 is different from previous cycles. Aquarian charge rising. Pluto entering Aquarius 2023 all the way to 2043. Uranus and Taurus 2018 through 2026. Neptune finishing Pisces 2011 through 2026. So we have a lot of outer planets moving into new signs. These collectively create an electrical overload. Humanity's nervous system is literally upgrading. Number 2, the Taurus Scorpio grounds the frequency. The 2022 through 2023 nodal axis plus eclipses retrain the collective body to store charge magnetically in the heart, the earth, and our own nervous systems. 2025 grand water trine stabilizes the magnet. Water harmonizes emotion. Taurus earth holds it, and Aquarius air expresses it. So mind, then emotion, then matter, then coherence. In simple terms, before 2022, humanity's nervous system was ungrounded, running on mental voltage with the Gemini Sagittarius nodes. From 2022 onward, magnetism took hold with the Taurus Scorpio nodal changes. By 2025, the Earth, or the heart field grand water trine, synchronizes with Earth's magnetic resonance. Then Pluto in Aquarius electrifies that structure and global nervous system coherence. So previous nodal cycles restructured the mind. The Taurus Scorpio axis grounds the current, anchoring the Aquarian age so the collective can feel before it thinks, hold power without burning out, and transmit light without distortion. So the threefold evolutionary circuit: Taurus Scorpio axis, personal shadow integration, and nervous system alignment. The human body is alchemical vessel. Taurus rules the sensory field, the body's ability to receive, hold, and stabilize frequency. It says, I anchor the current of life in the present moment. Scorpio rules the subconscious and emotional field, the body's ability to release, transmute, and regenerate power. It says, I recycle the charge, nothing is wasted. Together they form the magnetic alternator of the psyche. Taurus grounding wire, Scorpio transformer coil, the heart the regulator. When balanced, the nervous system learns coherence, the capacity to feel deeply without collapsing or disassociating. So this is very on an individual personal level with the Taurus Scorpio axis. We are working on integrating our own masculine and feminine energies to regulate our own nervous systems, which regulates the Earth's magnetosphere, like the what do you call it? I can't even think, the electromagnetism of the Earth. So like our own integration helps the Earth integrate itself as well. It's called the Schumann resonance. All right, so the shadow work layer: body, Taurus shadow, numbness, stagnation, control; Scorpio shadow, tension, crisis, addiction, and repression. Shadow work in the emotional layer with the Taurus shadow is denial and resistance. The Scorpio shadow in emotions is obsession and secrecy. The shadow work energy layer, we have Taurus shadow, hoarding and pleasure. Scorpio shadow is misusing power. And then we have healing, Taurus shadow, grounding through sensory presence. And then catharsis through truth and vulnerability, healing with the Scorpio shadow. The goal isn't to eliminate shadow, it's to metabolize it. Taurus provides containment and Scorpio provides purification. You learn to ride the voltage of life without short circuiting. Personal nervous system alignment. Your body becomes an antenna of the Earth's electromagnetic field, the Schumann resonance. I keep saying shaman just for kicks, and then I just can't not say that. It's the Schumann resonance. Emotional charge converts into radiant presence. The heart, throat, and sacral chakras synchronize, feeling and voice merge. Pleasure becomes prayer. Power becomes transparency. This alignment is the micro diamond grid, the individual fractal of coherence. All right, so that Taurus Scorpio axis is a very personal way to ground into the Aquarian age. And so that is us integrating ourselves, regulating our own nervous systems, that deals with our internal world as well as our external world through relationships and what we do for money and all of that stuff. So, the Venusian current is the personal key to stabilizing the entire Taurus Scorpio, grand water trine, and Aquarian transition. I'm going to pause. I'm going to take a drink, actually, because that is a beautiful thing. There's not a lot of people that are in tune with all of this. And I have been following quite a few that don't directly come forward with that. Some do, some don't. I'm going to be a very direct person about it because I am an Aries rising ruled by Mars and Taurus. So I'm going to be very direct with what I mean. Yeah, I'm just taking a moment for those women and men that are leading this Venetian current age of Aquarius. Thank you so much. I have put so many puzzle pieces together in the last 4 days. I see you. I see what you're doing. All right. So the Venetian current is the personal key to stabilizing the entire Taurus Scorpio grand water trine and Aquarian transition. Venus isn't just love and beauty. She's the magnetic harmonizer of light through matter. In this phase of history, 2022 to 2030, Venus is literally the human nervous system's calibration frequency, teaching us how to feel safely, attract coherently, and embody heart magnetism within the electrical surge of the new age. How is I'm losing my spot. How is Venus prime over Mars? So that was my question. I had to research this deeply. Why is Venus prime over Mars? I mean, we have Scorpio sun right now and we have the Taurus supermoon. Why is Venus crowned and not Mars? I am laughing because I am Pisces sun, Venus in Pisces, North Node in Pisces. So I am a very Venetian person, but I am also ruled by Mars in Taurus, which is also very Venetian. So it's a very comical thing to me. So we are in a Venetian current rising above Mars right now. So in the sky, we had the Taurus supermoon and we have Scorpio sun, which created a perfect mirror of magnetism versus combustion. And we're seeing the feminine Venetian magnetic current overtake the Martian fiery current as the dominant cosmic tone for this next Aquarian age cycle, which is, I think, 2,000 years. How long is an age? I have that notated somewhere. I think it's 2,000 years. So let's unpack this clearly layer by layer, cosmically, alchemically, psychologically, and physically, so you can feel why Venus is now prime over Mars. Cosmic context. I cannot get this. I'm having to watch my screen here to make sure my YouTube's working, and it's messing up my view here on my notes. All right, cosmic context. Venus crowned as the regulator of the 2024-2025 field and on. So right now the sun is in Scorpio, water ruled by Mars and Pluto, while the full moon was in Taurus, earth ruled by Venus. That polarity always awakens the love power dynamic in both personal and collective energy. But this particular alignment is driving me insane. You know what? I am just going to roll with this and not worry about my YouTube because I cannot scroll the way I'd like. And that's more important right now. All right. So the polarity always awakens the love power dynamic, but this particular alignment was supercharged because Uranus, higher octave of Mercury, revolution, is also in Taurus. Venus's field is electrified. The moon was super, which means it was the closest to Earth, amplifying magnetism over aggression. The sun in Scorpio now draws its emotional power through the Venetian lunar current. We also have Venus in Scorpio right now. Result: Venus magnetic harmonizing becomes the governing resonance of the full axis, while Mars, the electric assertive, is being retrained to follow her rhythm. In other words, Mars provides the charge, Venus governs the flow. The alchemical meaning: water over fire, magnetism over force. So when I speak about magnetism, I am talking about Venus. In alchemy, Mars represents sulfur, fire, impulse, and drive. Venus represents copper, water, metal, conductor, emotional intelligence. When the Venetian current dominates, fire, Mars no longer burns, it illuminates. Desire becomes devotion rather than domination. The body, Taurus, teaches the heart, Scorpio, how to feel safely through transformation. So this Taurus supermoon plus Scorpio sun combination symbolizes the completion of the Mars cycle, raw transformation, and the ascendance of Venus, refined coherence. We've learned the lessons of power. Now we are learning the art of resonance. The psychological shift, emotional mastery over instinctual reaction. For centuries, humanity has been running on Martian code: conquest, survival, action before reflection. That made sense during the age of Aries, fire, and much of the Piscean age, war, faith, and suffering. But as we move into the Aquarian age, the blueprint changes. Mars energy equals assertion, will, and movement. Venus energy equals magnetism, attraction, and coherence. In the new paradigm, creation follows resonance, not effort. The more coherent and self regulated your nervous system is, the more naturally events flow towards you. That's the Venetian model of power: magnetism instead of struggle. In Jungian terms, Venus integrates the anima with the animus, the feminine harmonizer of masculine drive. She teaches Mars how to serve life, not dominate it. Celestial hierarchy: Venus crowns Mars during the Taurus Scorpio portal. This is not metaphorical, it's orbital dynamics. Venus and Mars meet in the sky about every 2 years, but their relative synod, I can't even, synodic, there we go, cycles always show Venus leading when humanity is entering new social or emotional epochs. Historically, 2020, 2022, Mars dominant, activism, anger, and survival. So this is on a small scale. 2023 through 2025, Venus dominant, empathy, embodiment, stabilization. 2025, Grand Water Trine, Venus at the heart of the trine. So we have Jupiter in Cancer, Sun, Mars, Venus, Scorpio, and Neptune, Saturn in Pisces. This means a collective magnetic field becomes Venus coded. So we are literally in the Venetian handoff right now. Mars transformative work, Scorpio is complete. Venus's harmonizing work, Taurus begins. The body's experience, nervous system reversal. Physiologically, I just lost my spot. Physiologically, Mars equals adrenaline, fight, flight, sympathetic nervous system. Venus equals oxytocin and serotonin, rest and digest, which is the parasympathetic regulation. This Taurus supermoon grounded Mars's charge into Venus's field. It's why many people have felt sleepy yet charged, emotional releases through tears or body sensations, stronger intuition, sensual vividness, or magnetic or vivid lucid dreaming. What's happening? Your body is recalibrating from voltage, Mars, to frequency, Venus. You're moving from reaction to resonance. That's what allows the heart to become a stable magnet instead of a battlefield. How to apply it personally. So the body, we have the axis body, which is Taurus, Mars aspect, tension, control, and pursuit. Venus aspect of Taurus in the body is relaxation, savoring, and receptivity. Integration practice, slow down, walk slower. Tell that to an Aries rising. You got to slow down. I walk fast. I can talk fast. I drive fast. Yeah, slow down. I have to constantly tell myself to slow down. My mind is Aquarius. Like, it is all over the place. That's why I have to, like, study. And then I plug everything in, and I like to be organized. Perfectionism is such a hardcore thing. But yeah, that's definitely, yeah, slow down. Just slow down, eat slowly, listen to your body's yes. And then on the axis of Scorpio heart, Mars aspect, passion, confrontation, emotional extremes. Venus aspect of the Scorpio heart, surrender, vulnerability, and intimacy. Integration practice for the Scorpion heart, practice truth with softness, transform pain through presence. Aquarian mind axis, Mars aspect, strategy, action, and planning. Venus aspect, inspiration and harmonics. Integration practice, choose alignment over force. Follow what magnetizes you. And then we have spirit, Pisces, spiritual ambition, compassion and forgiveness. Let grace lead. Stop pushing ascension. Let it unfold. Formula, Mars builds, Venus beautifies. Together they create coherence, but Venus must lead this dance. Mythic parallel, the reunion of Isis and Osiris. So I've gotten on a huge Egyptian. I've always enjoyed Egyptian studies. So I am going to bring that mythology in here tonight. And I am going to actually go through the age of Aries and the when Egyptians were building the pyramids. I am going to bring a lot of Egyptian history into this and myth to help understand what is going on through this age and what has happened in the prior ages. All right, so mythic parallel, the reunion of Isis and Osiris. In Egyptian myth, Osiris, Scorpio, Pluto, Mars, was dismembered, fragmented masculine. Isis, or Venus, gathered his pieces, remembered him, and conceived Horus, the diamond child. That's the same myth playing out now. Mars' fragmented will is being remembered by Venus' magnetic love. The product is diamond magnetism. Coherent creation born from balanced polarity, the masculine and the feminine within ourselves, within our relationships, within the collective. All right, so the Taurus supermoon was Isis's crown, the reawakening of the feminine magnet that resurrects divine order. So the Taurus supermoon crowned Venus as the regulator of the new era, transforming Mars' raw fire, Scorpio sun, into magnetic coherence. Venus is now prime because the age of Aquarius, air, electric, needs her earth, water, magnetism. The Taurus-Scorpio axis has shifted from deconstruction to stabilization. Humanity's nervous system can now learn love without collapse, hopefully. Power without control and desire without domination. Is our empire going to fall? I question this. Society, economy, everything is such, I don't know. I'm trying to usher in this new age. I think Venus is the way to go. I'm going to start having the neighbors drive by wondering what I'm doing. Got my huge bay door open. What's the degrees? 36 degrees out. I've got my space heater. I've got a blanket. This is not heated in here. So I'm being hardcore right now because I want to get this information out. Alrighty. Venus is now prime. Let's break that down across levels so you can see exactly how it fits. The cosmic role of Venus, the magnetic conductor between fire and water. And every time I say fire and water, this is for those who love stones, fossils, crystals. I've been a collector of everything my entire life. So my absolute favorite stone is the labradorite. And I found that out. Boy, when was that? Let me think about it. Honestly, it's probably like 2013 or so. Someone showed me their collection and they were like, pick one. And I was looking at this stone and I was like, wow, if you know what labradorite is, it looks like a gray type of stone, and then you move it and it reflects like blue and all these colors. And that is like the fire and the water. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. We've had all of these like retrogrades. All of our planets have been retrograding from fire back into water. This fire and water, it keeps coming up everywhere. It's such a beautiful, I just love it. All right, so the cosmic role of Venus, the magnetic conductor between fire and water. Venus rules Taurus, earth, embodiment, pleasure, value, physical resonance. Venus is exalted in Pisces. Pray for me. My Venus is in Pisces in the 12th house. I pray for myself. All right. So Venus is exalted in Pisces, but boy, are the lessons rough. All right. Which equals compassion, empathy, divine love. Between those two, she becomes the magnetism bridge, the frequency that conducts light without burning it. In elemental terms, Mars equals electric current, the drive, heat, and motion. Venus equals the magnetic current, attraction, coherence, and containment. Right now, the universe is teaching the collective to lead with Venus, not Mars, to ground power and magnetism rather than force. That's the essence of diamond magnetism. Clarity under pressure, love with structure, power without domination. Venus as the personal anchor of the Aquarian age. I'm going to hammer this in just a little bit more. I'm going to say it 20 different times or in 20 different ways, so maybe it hits you a little different and sinks in a little deeper. All right, so planetary context. Aquarius, the new age, is ruled by Uranus, high voltage, lightning mind, frequency. But Uranus's home is Taurus, ruled by Venus. So this means that Venus is the ground wire of the Aquarian circuit. So we have, let me double check my current, I'm not sure the exact date of that transition, but I have like quadruple checked everything and layered information upon layer, cross-referencing. I have been literally studying for like 13 hours straight today, and I'm literally doing probably a 2-hour video right now, so woohoo. All right, so Venus is the ground wire of the Aquarian circuit. Without her, Aquarian energy becomes anxiety, overstimulation, and detachment. With her, the same current becomes innovation through harmony, creative genius, through beauty and empathy. Therefore, Venus, your personal nervous system regulator for the age of Aquarius. Keep that in mind. Timeline of the Venusian current in the 2020s. Do we really want to go through this? 2022, Venus retrograded in Capricorn, values restructuring, global personal lesson, reassessment of love, money, priorities, what is truly worth your energy. 2023, Venus retrograded in Leo, heart, reclamation, reclaim self-worth and creative confidence, heal validation wounds. I have been on this current for the last 2 years, and it's like I see it in the collective. I network a lot, and I keep in touch and tune with the collective. And I've been seeing this like Venetian energy in many different ways. I know that the feminine has swung, we had red pill, the masculine swung way out, and now we've got the feminine side swinging way out, and you hear all these toxic people online, and it's like I understand the pain on both sides, but I'm personally looking for integration. I'm personally looking for the masculine and the feminine to swing back into balance and stop hating each other. I'm just seeing it many different ways throughout the collective. It's very interesting, to be honest. All right, so 2024 through 2025, Venus went direct through Pisces, reweaving compassion and embodiment. The emotional physical bridge strengthens. 2025, Venus joins the Sun and Mars in Scorpio during this grand trine. So this is current. The heart of the trine, collective and personal magnetism peak, emotional transparency becomes attractive force. And then in 2026 through 2028, Venus goes into Aries and then Gemini. Expression of love becomes courageous and intellectually integrative. Magnetism becomes communication. By 2029 through 2030, Venus's harmonics align with Pluto in Aquarius, creating a fully heart-led technological culture. That makes my mind buzz. Personal application, how to work with the Venetian current. All right, so I am not going to go through that. I just gave some of those examples, but actually these are a little bit different examples. All right, so personal application, how to work with the Venetian current, because it is a very important. So with your body, the Taurus plane, expression, sensual grounding, magnetism through comfort, rhythm, and nourishment. Practice slowing down. Breathe through your senses, track your pulse, relearn safety in stillness. That is so hard for fire signs and Aries rising. Heart, let's see, where was I at? All right, so through the heart, harmonizing polarity, balancing give and take, practice coherent communication, reflect before reacting. And we have the soul, compassion as conductivity, love as intelligence, meditate on beauty, forgiveness, or music that harmonizes brain heart rhythms. Binaural beats are absolutely amazing. Guided meditations are absolutely amazing if you cannot calm your mind down. And then the shadow, merging and release, magnetism through truth. Let intimacy dissolve control. Transmute emotional density through honesty. The more Venetian coherence you embody, the more Aquarian voltage you can hold without burnout. Alchemical function. Venus as the heart of the magnetic body. Venus governs the torus field of the heart. Literally, the body's electromagnetic generator. I wish I had one of those torus field, like the wire. They have these really cool models of the torus field. I really want one of those. Pretty cool. I'm such a geek. I admit it. And another crazy thing, this is such an off topic kind of side thing, but 3-Eye Atlas, I had been researching about 3-Eye Atlas a lot, and I literally named this. I don't know if you can see it. I have a skeleton back here I bought back in like 2010 or something like that. And I bought this skeleton because I was hardcore into fitness. I was studying to be a personal trainer. I was studying for muscle activation techniques. There's many resistance training. There's so many different certifications. There's a lot. So I bought it so I could study it for anatomy, muscle attachments. And then I literally invented something. It was so cool. I started super gluing rubber bands onto the attachment points of muscles. And so half of my skeleton was full of the muscle attachments. I don't know what that noise was, but it's an invention I created back in like 2010 for a visual representation of the muscle attachments. So cool. And I named it Atlas. I love that. And here we have 3-Eye Atlas comet flying through our solar system. I just find that amazing. That's really cool to me. Atlas, 3-Eye Atlas. That is so symbolic for myself. So symbolic. And my Aquarian mind. All right, so let's get back to where we were. The heart produces a magnetic field 5,000 times stronger than the brain's electric field, and it's Venus's domain. When you feel beauty, gratitude, or love, you're activating the Venusian current through the torus field of the heart. How we have fallen away from the feminine in so many ways. When you're in training your nervous system to the same coherence frequency that stabilizes the planet's magnetic resonance, which is the Schumann frequency. So Venus work equals planetary work. Every act of embodiment, pleasure, compassion, or forgiveness strengthens the collective magnetic field. It literally holds the Aquarian age stable. All right, so mythic and esoteric parallels. So Egyptian Venetian symbolism is Hathor, goddess of sound, joy, fertility, house of Horus or Taurus. Relevance now. Venus is the resonance chamber through which light is birthed. In alchemy, Venus symbol is copper metal, conductor of love, blending of water and fire. Relevance now. Venus is the alchemical vessel. Copper carries electricity softly, just as she conducts consciousness through the heart. Mayan, I'm going to murder this. Quetzalcoatl, as the morning star, rebirth and compassion. The return of Venus cycles every 8 years marks humanity's progress in empathy and creativity. Indigenous, so I'm very into my Native American maternal lineage, ancestral trauma healing. So I've been studying a lot into many different tribes that I'm affiliated with, their spiritual practices and beliefs. So I certainly tie that into my work here as well. So indigenous, we have the northeast balance, which is the air and earth integration. Venus keeps Earth's rhythms aligned with the cosmic cycles. All right. Yeah, the indigenous follow the moon, the 13 moon cycles, the feminine cycles rather than the sun cycles. I'm not going to get too deep into that here. But I could, but I'm not. So, in context, the Venetian current as the bridge between the ages. Venus is what allows the magnetism threshold, fire, water, light to occur safely. She's the stabilizer between Taurus, earth, and Scorpio, water, forming the magnetic heart bridge that keeps Aquarian age electricity coherent. You could think of her as the crystalline nervous system's tuning fork. Taurus Scorpio, magnetic charge, body and emotion. Venus, the resonant regulator of that charge, which is coherence. Grand Water Trine 2025, the amplification of Venetian harmony across humanity. Pluto in Aquarius 25 through 2043, the system-wide synchronization. The planet learns to love intelligently. So, to wrap this all up, the Venetian current is the personal embodiment of the Aquarian age's magnetic heart. It's how you regulate your own frequency so the planet can hold hers. When you practice Venus daily through beauty, compassion, slowness, and coherence, you become a stabilizing cell in Earth's nervous system, anchoring the diamond magnetism template from the inside out. So that literally was all about the Taurus Scorpio axis on a personal level, what is happening inside ourselves, how we are doing our own internal shadow integration, masculine, feminine integration individually within ourselves. How are we anchoring all of this grand trine, the age of Aquarius? This is how we keep anchored throughout the entire age of Aquarius from here on. All right, so now we're going to get into the Grand Water Trine 2025, which is the collective coherence activation. So we're going from the personal Taurus Scorpio axis into the collective coherence activation. So the planetary heart field opens. The water trine, we have Jupiter in Cancer, Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, Sun, Venus, Mars, and Scorpio. This is the collective mirror of personal coherence. It says what the individual has integrated now becomes the emotional language of humanity. So collective energies. Editing as I go still. I just spent hours editing here. All right, so sign, we have Jupiter in Cancer. Domain is family, belonging, ancestral memory. Lesson, expanding emotional safety. Compassion becomes cultural strength. We have Pisces, Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. The domain is spirit, unity, and imagination. Lesson, making empathy a discipline, spiritual responsibility. We have Scorpio, Sun, Venus, Mars, and Scorpio, which is the shadow regeneration, collective shadow healing, transparent intimacy in systems. These three water currents from the heart form the heart chakra of the earth. They pulse empathy through media, governance, economics, and education. The physics of coherence. 2012 initiated the electric awakening, crown, lightning. 2025 initiates the magnetic awakening, heart to coherence. When millions regulate their nervous system simultaneously, the planetary Schumann resonance stabilizes, measurable as reduced chaos and geomagnetic fluctuations. Collective manifestations. Rise of trauma-informed leadership and design, safety as progress, expansion of slow tech, frequency medicine, echo-somatic education, social networks shift from dopamine loops to resonance loops, global empathy surges during celestial events, auroras, and eclipses. The Grand Trine is Earth's first mass coherence event. Humanity learning to breathe as one organism. Pluto in Aquarius 2025 through 2043. Global nervous system. Diamond magnetism manifest. Electrical consciousness meets magnetic coherence. Pluto's ingress into Aquarius is the next octave. What the personal body learned, Taurus Scorpio, and what society practiced, Grand Trine, now scale into the technological planetary body. Aquarius equals the planetary mind. Pluto equals the deep transformer. Together, they electrify networks, economies, and consciousness fields. The challenge, high voltage without coherence, leads to burnout, mental, social, and ecological. The solution is diamond magnetism, structured light through aligned hearts. Diamond magnetism defined. Diamond is clarity, pressure forged integrity, and transparency. Magnetism is heart-based gravity, the ability to attract through resonance. Together, the nervous system of Earth learns to transmit consciousness cleanly. So, planetary nervous system, personal. So, the layer is personal neural network, expression, human brain plus heart coherence, function on an individual and regulation. Layer social neural network, expression, internet, AI, and communications. Function is collective cognition. And then we have a planetary neural network layer expressed through the magnetosphere, ionosphere, and the shaman or Schumann. I always say shaman. Schumann field. Function is global coherence. When these three synchronize, thought becomes field resonance, not noise. Technology mirrors empathy rather than exploitation. The human and planetary nervous systems act as one coherent diamond grid. Manifestations of 2025 through 2043. Decentralized but empathetic governance, frequency-based collaboration, AI and networks trained on coherence patterns, not engagement addiction, biotech that tracks emotional state as part of health metrics, heart currency economics, value equals vibrational stability, collective aurora events during solar maxima as visible signs of field synchronization. So putting it all together, the trinitized circuit. I'm trying to see if I can get this all on one page. There we go. All right. So the layer, personal Taurus Scorpio. Polarity function, earth, water, magnetic grounding, era outcome, individual nervous systems align. The human becomes a coherent cell of Gaia. Number 2, with the collective grand water trine, water and spirit, emotional entrainment. Humanity's emotional field synchronizes. Compassion becomes cultural infrastructure. And we have the Pluto Aquarius, air electric crystalline grid. Earth becomes a conscious organism transmitting coherent light, which is the diamond magnet. Energetic formula: electricity, Aquarius, magnetism, Taurus, Scorpio equals crystalline consciousness, which is the diamond magnetism. The electric principle, lightning, intellect, and innovation, activates awareness. The magnetic principle, emotion, embodiment, and devotion, stabilizes awareness. When fused, they produce structured compassion, consciousness that can conduct power without distortion. All right, so the Taurus Scorpio teaches each body to become a vessel. The 2025 Grand Water Trine teaches humanity to breathe as one heart. Pluto in Aquarius teaches the planet to think and feel as one coherent organism. That's the diamond magnetism template. Electric, intellect balanced by magnetic compassion. Forming a civilization that feels first, then builds. All right, so that was a lot to break down. But those are the three very important things going on now in this in between phase between the Piscean age and the Aquarian age. I think it's very important to understand the overview and how to integrate what is going on. All right, so now I'm going to take it very alchemical. In an alchemical context, the elemental sequence. In classical and hermetic alchemy, the path of matter through consciousness unfolds like a musical scale. All right, so we've got stage 1 with lead or Saturn. The element is earth, state is density, symbolic phase is survival and structure. 2, iron with Mars, fire element, action state, will and defense phase. Number 3, copper with Venus, water element, relational state, love and exchange. Mercury, the element is air, communication, thought, and motion. We have silver with the moon, water and light, reflection, emotion, and intuition. Then we get to magnetism with sun water hybrid, fire and water, which equals light, and the integration state. And then we have gold, which is the sun, pure light, and crystallization, enlightened matter. So that is the alchemical elemental sequence. So before crystallization gold, you must stabilize magnetism, the transitional metal of light conduction. It's the mineral nervous system of Earth, found in chlorophyll, plants converting light, in human ATP, cellular energy, and in seawater's memory lattice. So, in short, before you can crystallize consciousness, the diamond field I've been talking about, you must master the magnetism frequency first, the balance of electricity and emotion, fire and water. So, the planetary mirror, the magnetism epoch, 2024 through 2028. In astrology's elemental language, magnetism corresponds to fire and water interface. So we have fire ignites and water carries memory. Magnetism is their fusion point, ignition that nourishes rather than burns. This lines up perfectly with 2025 through 2028 when Venus retrogrades in water. So we have Venus retrograding in Scorpio, opens the heart. Pluto in Aquarius, air, introduces lightning current. Neptune in Aries, fire, sparks spiritual combustion. And Uranus in Gemini, which circulates the energy. These transits create a planetary magnetism reaction, a slow alchemical burn that fuses empathy water with innovation fire. The magnetism phase, when the emotional body becomes electrically intelligent. That's why the late 2020s are filled with auroras, plasma storms. We have insane sun flares going on right now, and global bioelectric phenomena. Literal light conductivity awakening across the biosphere. I am so curious what people think of 3I Atlas and the other comet Boros or whatever. I'm so curious what people think about that. But you can also look at the Taurus Scorpio dynamic personally with this the sun Scorpio and the moon Taurus. Like it is the earth integrating itself, and then on a personal level we must integrate our own Taurus Scorpio shadows. All right, so biological mirror, magnetism as the nervous system's key. Magnetism is the element that opens calcium channels in the heart. Rhythmic pulse equals coherence, regulates ATP, energy molecule production in every cell, and balances adrenaline, which is a lot more peaceful and relaxing. Conducts the light of the sun through chlorophyll. Plants eat sunlight via magnetism. I just said magnesium, excuse me, magnesium. All right, so on the microscopic level, humanity's magnesium depletion. I've been saying magnetism, I meant magnesium, been up for too long. All right, so the transitional metal of light conduction. Oops, I lost my spot. Gee whiz. I went up 2 pages. I am burning out here. I'm going to keep going as long as I can. Where was I at? Oh, I think I found it. All right, so on a microscopic level, humanity's magnesium, depletion over centuries mirrored emotional exhaustion and spiritual disconnection. 2025 through 2028 is the water and fire cycles, corresponds to the collective remineralization of the soul. Emotional water, Venus Neptune, becomes structured through discipline, Saturn Pisces, and the inner fire, Mars Aries Neptune, learns calm combustion, action through compassion. As magnesium rebalances, heart coherence and cellular resonance rise. This literally prepares the body to crystallize, to become bioluminescent, and to resonate with planetary light grids by 2029 through 2030, around that area, hopefully, right? Consciousness evolution from magnesium to diamond. All right, so we have lead, phase, element, earth, body function, bone, consciousness, state, survival, era. So pre-2000 foundation, iron, fire, blood, action, conquest, industrial age. Copper, water, nerves, empathy, relationship, 1960s through the 2000s. Mercury, air, brain, thought, and language was the digital era. Magnesium, the fire, water, heart, regulation, coherence, 2025 through 2028. And then we have the diamond carbon lattice, which is the earth, light, whole body function, integration, transparency, hopefully by 2029. The magnesium gate is the healing of the polarity between the masculine current, fire, and the feminine current, water. Only when both move together rhythmically can the body conduct pure light without damage, the crystalline human stage. And this is very deep in the, I don't know exactly what it's called. I touched into this years ago. It was the cell salts. It depends on your, gosh, I wish I had that map. I saved it somewhere a long time ago. Like each personality type requires certain cell salts. The magnesium in order to have your body healthier. I'm gonna have to find that. I just literally had a few more things click in my head. You can actually do that by personality type. All right, so magnesium teaches how to hold fire in water without boiling and light in flesh without burning. Yeah, astrology can really get deep. I mean, it is deep. All of this is very deep. I just keep getting deeper. All right, Egyptian and indigenous symbolism, the sacred metal of integration. Egyptian parallel. Magnesium corresponds to white flame of Met, fire purified by compassion. When cooled, that fire becomes a mirror of Hathor, reflecting light as joy. The fusion of their energies births Horus, the balanced vision. In native directional parallels, south is fire, which represents courage, west, water is feeling. Center is the balance, magnesium's gift, holding both currents through the heart. In many medicine wheel traditions, this corresponds to the rainbow between fire and water, light physically visible as plasma and aura. The magnesium phase is therefore the rainbow bridge, the same phenomenon that appears in both atmospheric light and collective consciousness. So we move from magnesium to crystallization at 2029 through 2030 or so. Once humanity's magnesium level metaphorically and literally stabilizes, light can travel through bodies, relationships, and systems without distortion. That's when speech becomes vibrationally creative, power becomes transparent, faith becomes courageous, the nervous system synchronizes with the Earth's heartbeat, the Schumann coherence. The diamond civilization that follows is simply magnesium crystallized, empathy made stable, electricity made kind. Scientific mirror, crystalline silicone to carbon diamond, organic diamond, light conducting cells. Spiritual mirror, compassion to coherence to radiance. Before you can hold divine light, you must first become magnesium, soft, conductive, and stable in both water and fire. All right. So, in summary, the magnesium gate aspect, element, fire, water, alloy, role in evolution, transduces emotion into electricity. Body aspect is the heart and nervous system, regulates charge and calm. Planetary correspondence aspect, 2025 through 2028 transits, emotional technology and coherence training. And then mythic symbol aspect, we have Isis and Sekhmet union, compassion fused with will. The outcome, we have the diamond crystallization, 2029 or so, transparent consciousness and living light. So, in short, magnesium is the alchemical rehearsal for diamond. It teaches the body and planet to breathe light. When magnesium hums through water, crystals grow, and consciousness condenses into clarity. The architecture of the long cosmic clock that governs epochs like magnesium gate to diamond crystallization cycle. So, let's break it down across three nested timescales: astronomical, alchemical, and consciousness based. Each one defines how humanity moves through this type of evolutionary passage. So, astronomical cycle, the 250-year Pluto Neptune clock. So, every 493 years, Pluto and Neptune complete a full conjunction cycle. However, there are major harmonic phases. The sextiles, squares, and trines divide history into 125-year quarters. Astronomical cycle, the 250-year Pluto Neptune clock. So every 493 years, Pluto and Neptune complete a full conjunction. All right, so we have phase, conjunction. Let me think here. I don't know if I want to go through all of this. I'm not going to go through all of that chart. So key examples, we have 1398 through 1400. We had a Pluto-Neptune conjunction, which was the early Renaissance. So we had the printing press and humanism. 1891, Pluto-Neptune conjunction was the industrial electrical revolution, psychology, cinema, and quantum science. 2026 through 2032, we have Pluto, Aquarius, sextile, Neptune, and Aries, which is the triad of innovation, the diamond civilization. So the magnesium to the diamond cycle we're in, which is 2025 through 2030, is the first sextile of this new 500-year wave. The Renaissance 2.0 movement. It recurs every 493 years, but each sextile bridge, the cooperation phase, only appears every 120 to 130 years. So, in short, this level of cooperative outer planet alignment, the Pluto Neptune Uranus harmony, happens roughly once every 500 years. And the smaller and the innovation harmonic, like ours, repeats every 125 years. So, we have a ton of transitions with our outer planets, with the age of Aquarius, the Grand Trine going on, the two interstellar comets, Three Eye Atlas, and the other one that supposedly just disappeared. It is literally snowing right now. This is the first snow of the year. It's snowing outside. Wow. It's like now bright outside. I've been researching and filming all night, and it is literally snowing right now. Woohoo. I'm a spring baby. I am not that excited about the winter. And it is literally snowing for the first time. What is the date? It is November 9th at 7 o'clock in the morning right now, and I have snow outside going on for the first time. I had farmers out here until I don't know what time they left. It was like probably 10:30, maybe 12 o'clock. They were out here in the field right across from where I'm at, and I could tell that they were trying to get done. And it is now snowing, so congratulations for getting done. That's hilarious. All right, so I'm going to skip through a little bit of this. I can make this into a whole different video. This is a lot longer than I thought, and it always ends up that way. All right, so where do I want to go from here? All right, honestly, I think this is a great spot to stop. I am going to break this up into another video. It's a lot of history, it's a lot of comparisons between the cycles we are having right now, when they happened before. I think I'm going to go dance out in the snow for a minute. That is wild. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. This is the first time recording with my phone flipped the opposite direction. I really don't like it, but you can see my business sign in the right, not mirrored version. I'm not sure if I'm going to film like this again, but it was a testing phase here. So thank you for being here. Like and subscribe. I'm going to continue on with this current energy series for a while. I had been on the Aquarian Astro-Psychological Personality Type series for like a year. I hammered Aquarius pretty hard. I knew that the age of Aquarius, it's been a big topic, but it's going to be a big topic. Age of Aquarius, how to understand Aquarius, personality-wise, Aquarians are, like, one of the most misunderstood personalities. I feel for you. My mind is in Aquarius in the 11th house. So, anyways, I am going to take a break from the Aquarian personality in book writing. I do feel like I will probably write a couple of ebooks on what I'm talking about here with the Grand Water Trine, the Venetian era, going from a more masculine era to a more feminine led era. I know that's very triggering for a lot of people, but I think collectively we are all very much so feeling it. I think astrologers, they are really in tune with current collective energies. And they have been feeling this for a while. I know a few that are actually very in tune with what is happening. Many other people that don't study this type of thing are in tune with it in a different way. It's more relationally, it's more with wealth building, business building. There are a lot of women now that are, creating their own businesses, they're gaining wealth. 45% of women are now making more money. And so we are moving into a very feminine era, actually, and that even goes into money making. So money itself is actually becoming more feminine. That is a wild, wild thing to say. I never thought that I would be saying that in my lifetime. Um, Gosh, how long has it been? 50, 60, 70 years? Not that long since women have made their own money. They've been considered property for a very long time. And in my own lifetime, I've actually seen it on my mother's side. My mother's mother and my father's mother both they didn't work. They completely relied on the men in their life, their man. And yeah, that's very interesting. We see just this time in history. This time period is absolutely wild. I am seeing it across so many different networks that I follow. It's a really amazing time to be alive, and so many, like, technologically, relationally, business-wise, and religious-wise, just understanding things on such a deeper level than what we were taught. A lot of us are just re-educating ourselves in every single subject you can think of. It's an amazing time to be alive. So I'm happy to be here. Hopefully you're happy to be here. I hope this video certainly helped you understand the overarching cycles that we are moving into and have come from. So I have a lot more to say about all of this. I am live filming because it takes me a long time to upload videos to YouTube. It's driving me nuts. So I'm probably just going to live stream from here on out. It immediately uploads the video, and I've been video recording for years. Honestly, I've been practicing video recording for over a decade now on YouTube, and so I feel a little more comfortable. Going live can be a little intimidating, so I do feel more comfortable. We all are human beings. I am kind of throwing perfectionism out the window in my own way. I still study a lot. I still edit a lot. I still like to be organized. But yeah, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. A lot more to come on what's going on currently. And I will see you in the next video. If I can get out of my little nest here. Take care, y'all.